Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, you're watching the Big Apple Prepper, and today I wanted to talk to you about how to garden if you live in an apartment. And I wanted to show you what I use for when I live in an apartment. This is called an Aerogarden, and right now it looks kind of bare bones because I already took out a lot of the plants for this year. And let me just get the light on. And I did try to plant some more arugula and get that going, but it didn't take. Sometimes these pods don't take. So right now, even though these are not full size, I'm gonna be taking them out and putting them out in the yard just to get real sunlight. But this is how I artificially start my garden in the winter time, and it's just a great way if you're very limited on space. And I'm going to show you what my other plants look like, because once this reaches full height, they will be touching the top of these lights and they can get burned. So you do want to make sure that you have a place to replant your plants, because at some point they're going to grow past this light. And I'm going to be showing you that next. So I want to show you guys what a New York City garden could look like. And these are my little tomatoes that I grew with the Aerogarden. I replanted out here, and this is a hybrid lemon lime tree, which the fruit actually tastes quite different than a typical lemon would. And I have some strawberries, which when they catch vine, they're gonna run alongside these tomatoes. And the main thing that I wanted to talk to you guys about was this bolted lettuce. Alright guys, so this is gonna be a quick wrap-up video, but I wanted to show you a little bit about my crops and how they turned out with the Aerogarden. So after I had planted salad greens, and after it grew a certain height, I replanted it in a larger size container and I put it outside. So I want to show you what the Aerogarden could potentially grow to be. My salad greens are currently this high from the container to down there. Now, if you're not aware, this is called bolted salad, and basically it's when the salad feels that it's time for it to reproduce. So what it'll do is it'll shoot straight up and it'll start developing these flowers, and basically all of the plant's energy and strength go to the flowers, because when the flowers get pollinated, you'll basically be able to reproduce, or you'll be able to collect the seeds. So what happens to the salad down here is that it ends up tasting bitter and nasty, and it basically becomes inedible. So when this happens, the best thing to do is to rip the plant out from the roots and either harvest the seeds and toss it, or you can replant something else, because unless you're going to, like I said, harvest the seeds, then there's no sense in keeping this plant. And I had a lot going on in my personal life, so I didn't pay attention to this one particular plant, and it just happened to overgrow. Now, if you wanted to save this plant, what you could potentially do is cut it down, have it regrow out sideways, and it will try to do a second harvest later on in the year. I don't know how effective that is. I've never tried it, but if you have, please comment down below and let me know how that turned out for you. But I just haven't tried it, so I'm basically going to be ripping this guy out, and I'm not going to be taking the seeds, unfortunately. It was just a waste. But I do have some other plants here from the Aerogarden that I am going to be replanting outside, and I do have some salad greens here that grew, and another small baby tomato that I'm going to replant, and that's gonna be it. You know, we're gonna get rid of those guys. Bitter is nasty. I mean, I tried a piece and it wasn't all that, you know. So yeah, that's what gardening in New York City is. In our garden, we grow everything. We grow strawberries, tomatoes, a salad, and mop sticks, courtesy of my dad. And one last thought, you guys, if you think that you can just start gardening at the collapse and that you're just magically going to sprout plants and crops and be able to live off of that, you are sadly mistaken, because as I showed you with this salad, there is plenty that can go wrong. You have to have experience. You have to know what works and what doesn't. And from my tiny garden, I could tell you that it takes a lot of space to yield big results, big enough results to feed your family. Like, these would just be a snack. I couldn't actually live off of this stuff. But I am going to attempt to try to grow my crops and produce more stuff in the future. I also did want to show you guys one last idea that I had, and I have a hormone disorder that I got diagnosed with when I was 20 years old. I do take medication for it, but if my medication for some reason became unavailable due to the collapse, due to my last video that talked about all of the medical shortages that affected me, I got the idea to look into holistic alternatives. And one of the ideas that I got was to plant this plant called fenugreek, which is this plant would help balance my hormones if I learned to harvest the seeds. Now, I know that this is nowhere nearly enough of what I would need, but the idea is there. If this works out, if I can harvest any of these seeds this year, then I will be looking into how to plant more in larger amounts. So that is an idea that I have if my medication ran out. Do you have alternatives for your medication? Are you even looking into holistic options? Because I didn't know that this could potentially be an option. Like, yeah, I'm not a doctor, and I'm not telling you to go off your medication, but what if your medication was no longer available? Like how they told me that, the manufacturer is no longer making your medication. Like, what if something like that happens? You just don't know, and you just want to look into a potential alternative or something to alleviate your symptoms if you are on medication for long term. So this is my plan for me. You should look into plans for you, or even discuss it with your doctor, and just maybe even go to a holistic medical practitioner and just see if there is anything you could do if your medications no longer became available. And I also wanted to mention this as well, which is neem oil, and this is what I use to spray my plants to keep them from getting bitten alive, because we get a lot of bugs, and this is pretty healthy, and I've had good results with this for the past 3 years. So I just want to let you guys know that. And I will see you on the next video. Thank you so much for watching. Bye bye.